Right, there's a lot of nonsense going on in this hobby of ours, model railway, and it needs to stop right now. There's people out there which on a weekly and daily basis are doing things which are damaging the hobby, and eventually it's going to cause irreparable damage. I'm talking about these people that gatekeep and people that talk down everyone and stop you from doing what you want to do with your model railway because they say that you're wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'm right, you're wrong, I'm old, you're young, etc, etc, etc. And also the people that are out there that are just out there for the clicks. There's no evidence of doing any railway modelling whatsoever. It just seems to be them talking down and poking fun at things, and that's just not what the hobby's about. There's no evidence. So let's discuss it at length about what's wrong with the hobby today. Right, it's time for some updates this week. Not a lot going on really on the railway. I'm trying to build up this elevator section here. As you can see, I've got all the weight on it. I tried just using foam, the polystyrene. What happened is when I put this on the mount, it was fine. But when I tried to put a stiffening piece on top of it to blend all the sections together, it warped because I just used card. So I've used 4mm ply on this one, and it's a lot stiffer, but the downside is I'm having to properly, as you can see, weight it down. That big tub of PVA cost me 13 quid. More PVA than I'm probably ever going to need to use this year. I've filled that up once already, and it's not even taken a tenth of the bottle from the massive PVA thing, so that's good. So yeah, get the big PVA in batches, pay 13 quid for it. Jobs are good. Now, as far as repurposing the engine shed, I finally got round to it, and what I've done is I've cut the back out, so it's now a through goods shed. But as you can see, we've still no platform. That's where the foam's going to come in, because this is about the right height for a goods platform. That is what I cut out. That was the end panel, but look how thick that is with a strong card. I mean, this took me about 5 minutes to cut out with a Dremel. So anyone that says Metcalf kits ain't good for talking broken biscuits, because that is proof that they are. So I'm going to measure up the foam, try and get it in the right dimensions for inside there. Try and make myself a goods platform which protrudes a little bit to the outside, but runs all the way on the inside as well. And at the back end here has a sloped access point, and I may even reuse, because I've got a couple of these spare, but I may even reuse some of the modern image platform ladders. You can see there, look, the perfect height, so I might even put some of them on this side as well, just to complete the look of this custom goods shed that's going on. So yeah, what do you think? Right then, now I've been back in model railways for about 3-4 years-ish, actively modelling and YouTube the last couple of years, and there's one consistent argument that keeps coming up, and that is, are model railways dying? They're not. Are model railways changing? They are. There's also always a lot of questions from people. A lot of questions from a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, with lots of different levels of understanding and knowledge about the hobby. For example, myself, my dad worked at British Rail when I was a lad, so I grew up in the very late 80s, early 90s, riding around in British Rail trains, at Leeds City Station, Netherhill Depot, all that sort of stuff, going behind the scenes, look at everything else. And I saw like a couple of Class 47s, and that's all I can remember. HSTs, 225s and all that lot. And that's sort of where it ended. Now, my dad was my source of all knowledge because obviously back in the 90s there wasn't much of the internet to go on. My dad went and died some years ago at the age of 58, so somewhat prematurely. So all my source of knowledge from that time period sort of died with him. So I myself, I'm not a fountain of knowledge, so to speak, in terms of what should be run, in terms of stock and locomotives and whereabouts they ran and what they did and everything else. And that's not my fault. I am very passionate about the hobby, but I am not necessarily knowledgeable. I have to go to people which are knowledgeable, people that want to share knowledge. And here is the problem. Now, not everyone, so let's just get that out of the way at the start. Not everyone in this category is like this, okay? Not everyone is to blame or responsible for this problem. So let's just get that out of the way straight away. There's always exceptions to the rule. But the issue is, the folks with the knowledge tend to be gatekeeping it for some reason, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why. You're a person of advanced years, and it doesn't even need to be that advanced really. You could be middle-aged and you've got knowledge of how the railways worked or work, what was going on in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and someone posed a question about what was going on, how they worked, and your response is anything less than helpful. All you're doing is damaging the hobby. That's it. You're not saving any sacred gathered information. All you're doing is gatekeeping, and that will quickly destroy what's left of the community sense in this hobby, because it's failing fast in certain areas. There's a lot of groups on Facebook and the internet where people just argue constantly about region and why you shouldn't do it, and it's not proper, and there's this separation, this gatekeeping, this us and them sort of thing. Well, oh, you're not running pre-grouping steam engines up to 1968 on December the 3rd, so you're not a railway model, you can be disregarded entirely. It's bollywallocks is what it is. And if you're the sort of person that does that, if you've ever done that, you are responsible for up this hobby and making it so difficult for new people to come through, because they're not going to want to do it. Everyone these days researches things, or they should do. They research things before getting involved in them. If someone's trying to research getting into a hobby or look at what prototypes are on, and all they see is page after page after page of grown men arguing, women arguing with each other about what colour British Royal Blue is and what train to run on a Thursday outside Exeter Station on June 3rd, 1974. And then you would get someone arguing that that wasn't the case, and there's someone arguing that that was the case, and the whole vicious cycle just spends time chasing its tail. It just round and round and round. The sort of people that I've spent 17 weeks crafting these leaves, their exact same profile as the ones found on the line, which were responsible for the closures of September 1937 outside Doncaster. Yes, that's correct. And everyone else will go, bravo, well done Alan, you're superb. Who gives a fiddler's fart about that? No one does. No one real anyway. No one proper about this. Oh, no one cares. Don't get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a superbly accurate model, which is well thought out and well designed and well built. Mark Wilson is one such person I can think of immediately that comes to mind. Boomer, who I'm watching behind me, fantastic model railwaying skills and railroading skills, because he's a septic tank. What's the end goal? Being super strict about what to model, and then just slapping people down. I see it all the time. You probably see it all the time. It's the single most tiring thing about this hobby. It's incredibly frustrating to see it. Almost every single day you see some sad bar steward whinging because someone got something wrong. And when someone comes and asks what to do, they either get told to go and Google it, and then if they go and Google it or go to the wrong source of information and come back and wrong, they get further belittlement. Building on what's ruining things and spoiling things is you've all of a sudden got this insurgence of people joining the hobby, which seem to take incredible amounts of credit for doing almost zero work and effort. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but if you look, they're out there. There just seems to be this insurgence of people which are making YouTube videos and writing articles, and they quite clearly, if you look hard enough and follow the paper trails, have zero interest in model railways as a hobby, but they are incredibly interested in what they can gain in terms of clicks, likes, even monetary remuneration from ad revenue from model railways on YouTube, ad revenue from magazines, articles, whatever. So what's happening is these people, they're on this mad mission, and they're using layouts that they've not built themselves. They're claiming that a layout is theirs, and it's not theirs. They haven't built any of it, or if they have, they've built a very small portion of it. The real work, the engine room stuff, if you will, hasn't been done by them, and it's all over the place. And people are lapping it up, and it's going unchecked with the real railway modelers out there. And I hope I can class myself as part of the ranks in that instance, because yes, I do YouTube, and yes, I do rants, and I vent my frustrations about the hobby to the camera, and I know a few of you guys that like it, some of you dislike it, and that's fine, that's sorted out, okay, fine. But I think you agree, I am a railway modeller. I am genuinely interested in railways and railway modelling, in all aspects of it, and pretty much all gauges as well. The proof is behind it. You folks have seen me build this layout from scratch, from nothing. Now, there are some folks out there where that evidence doesn't exist. All of a sudden, you've got someone out there with a channel or a media outlet, and they've got, from absolutely nowhere, all of a sudden they've got 1,000 followers, they've got less than 20, 25, 30 videos. They're all very similar, and they've got a fantastic looking layout which has come from absolutely nowhere. There's no build history, there's nothing. One thing that we enjoy doing with model railways is documenting our journeys when building layouts or building models and sharing them with the community, provided you don't get those gatekeeping so-and-so from earlier coming on and ruining things with their fun police attitude. That, for me, is one of the best bits about the modern model railway hobby, is getting to share it with people online. It will not continue as long as you have people that are only in this game for catching views and catching ad revenue and not giving anything back. And once they get bored, once they've tapped that resource dry and the views start to trail off, they'll leave and you'll be left high and dry. And that's as simple as that. And if you are one of the gatekeeping Gestapo, one of the elitist old men in your loft sat there rattling around being angry at people because they want to run Mark 1 coaches behind a HST, or they want to run a Class 66 pulling some VAA vans or whatever, I've got some news for you. You're probably going to have a bit of a fall soon, given your increasing years. And when you do, you'll probably shuffle off your mortal coil, after which your family will sell your model railway collection to the first person that comes along, probably to an absolute idiot like me, and I will take great joy in weathering your models to within an inch of their life so they're nice and crusty and grimy, and then I will happily run them with whatever I see fit, wherever I see fit. I will run a Western in Scotland, and I will run a Class 37 in Dubai, and I will run an American switcher in the middle of Lancashire. You won't be able to stop it. I think that's probably going on long enough now for 1 week, folks. What do you think? As always, I like to know what you guys are thinking as I'm ranting at you. You can leave your comments down below. I do try and read as many as I can, and I do reply to most, especially if there's a good bit of conversation. So just remember, keep it polite, guys. Don't be nasty. There's no need to be vicious or anything like that. Just let's have a nice conversation about what's going on. Do you think there's too much gatekeeping in the hobby? Does gatekeeping even have a place? I don't think it does. There's no benefit that I can see to withholding information from somebody, then getting angry at them when they don't get it right. It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So I need to know what you folks are thinking. And have you noticed anyone out there that you think's a little bit suspicious in terms of their motives? Maybe they're not quite clear. The content is always, what's the word I'm looking for? It just seems empty. There's no substance behind it. It just doesn't seem genuine. There's a few I can think of, but as always, no names, no pack drill. So with that, guys, I'm going to take the ranting cap off and have a bit of a lie down. And I'll see you all next week. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. And I'll see you later on. Cheers now. Bye bye.